Good evening everyone and welcome to episode 6 of Top Gear and Extra Gear. So tonight was the final episode of the series. It's only 6 episodes. I was expecting a few more. Unfortunately, we're not getting them. Well, the intro, I'm fed up with complaining about the 3-stage intro that Chris is doing. Hopefully, next season, he won't be here. And we'll have a different intro with a different, less annoying voice. Chris Harris with the NXS. Chris Harris with the NXS. NSX. NXS. Chris Harris with the NSX. A traditional, true Top Gear style video. I'm a little bit confused. Why are the Americans making a Japanese sports car? I understand it's got an Acura badge, which is the American version of Honda, but it just seems, the Japanese are good at making sports cars. So why are the Americans doing it? However, it does look awesome. But again, with Chris Harris, another passionate video made with excitement and enthusiasm and they bumpy shoulders. I'm not quite sure how I feel about the new hybrid way of life. Yes, I get that it's all environmentally friendly, but I drive a Mustang, a V8 Mustang, and I have in the driveway a 71 V8 Mustang. I also drive, my main car is a V6 petrol Mercedes. So, environment is not at the top of my list. Maybe it should be, but I'm a true car lover. I love cars. I love true 70s V8 muscle. But the idea of hybrid just does not work for me. I just really hope we don't get the news that Ford, the new Mustang, hybrid. Or Dodge, the new Charger, hybrid. Or Chrysler, the new Viper. Just can't see it. However, the NSX, £130,000 for that car. I'm sorry, I would much rather spend £60,000 and get a Nissan GTR. Okay, Stig's intro, they're still doing it, so it must be part of the show. They haven't listened to anybody on that thing. However, Matt's very funny when he does it. You can see, I like to see Chris Harris at the side do the little shoulder chuckle. And it just, he introduces it very well. So Matt actually does a good job. However, when Chris Evans comes on the scene, he just shouts and, it's the Stig! And this whole nonsense about getting the crowd involved and going, it's the Stig! It's like a Punch and Judy puppet show at the beach. It's just full of cheese and cringeness. Is cringeness the word? Cringeness should be a word. Like the word I made up before, congrumble. It's a mixture of complain and grumble. I remember when I was saying to my friend, I was thinking can't complain, but I said grumble. And it came out, you can't come grumble. I think it's a brilliant word. We should put that in the dictionary. Shakespeare did it, why can't I? At least, this time Chris Evans was more informative when he was doing the Stig lap. It sounded like he'd read a little bit and he's done a bit of research. But back in the studio, he's just loud and annoying and shouts all the time. He needs a good slap. A slap so hard that he passes through the gap in the hangar doors all the way back to his home where he's got his special little Ferrari wrapped up in cotton wool that he never drives. And that's where he should stay. Okay, the new Mustang. I've been waiting to see this video. I've been looking online and I saw that they were doing the Mustang and I saw that it was Rory Reid doing it. However, I completely agree with what he says. Now, the opening scene they had was gorgeous. It's a great opening scene. I want to find that road. Well, it's a long way to go from here to Scotland. But I want to find that road, take my drone up there and get some really good shots of my Mustang going through those roads. Oh, I would love it, absolutely love it. I'm going to have to do that. I do disagree with the left-hand drive thing. These cars have got enough power to hang right back, which you should do anyway. You shouldn't be that close to a lorry, Rory Reid. Hang right back and then have a good look and then bam, floor it. You've got enough power to pull out, get past it, get back in, no problem. However, I do think having the earlier Mustang first, with that lovely grumbly V8 with the lumpy cams burbling away, then bringing in the new Mustang, it just makes it sound a bit tame and a bit... You can still hear the V8, but it's a bit European. Watered down. Now, I've driven the S550 myself, and although it's quite quick, it doesn't feel as though it gets there very quick. You know, it's, with mine, you've got bam, acceleration, loud, noise, bonnet lifts up, raw, smoking tyres, you know, it's all raw. Even with the traction control on, you pull away from the lights, you squirm up the road. That's the way American muscle should be. Not all this European safety. I agree with what they're saying. They're bringing the car into Europe and they're making it a European car. And that's a mistake. When he gets back in the studio and he said about, I don't want a muscle car that my grandmother can buy or my mother can buy, I completely agree with him, 100%. Same with the EcoBoost. Yes, okay, it's quick, but it just doesn't sound right, you know? It's the fact that it's got the engine out of the Ford Focus RS puts it in a Eurobox arena, not in an American muscle car arena. Who buys a Mustang whilst thinking about the environment? Nobody does that. It's not what Mustangs are for. I didn't go to and bought a Mustang and go, well, I want a 4.6 V8. I want to do this, 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 and this to it, to the engine. I want to do this to do it, this to it, this to it, this to it. Make it louder, make it faster, make it use more petrol. But I also want to think about the environment. And his comment about, you know, if you buy the EcoBoost, your friends would say you bought the wrong car. I'm sorry to all the EcoBoost owners out there. I'm sure you love your car and I'm sure it's great. But from my point of view, and Rory Reid's point of view, and I'm sure many others' point of view, it's true. You know, you're buying a woolly Mustang, a tame Mustang, a watered down Mustang. I much prefer the grumbly, angry V8 with an attitude problem. Anyway, enough about the Mustang for now. The guests, it's really strange seeing little and larger walk in like that. Greg Davies, I think he's really funny. I really like him. He reminds me of a tall Rick Mail, you know. And Patrick Dempsey, having those two, one a racing driver, one not a racing driver, two very different people. Again, this awkward introducing each other, the atmosphere of, I don't know who the hell you are, I don't know what you've done in the past, I have no idea what you're doing right now, I know nothing about you except what I'm reading off this auto cue very awkwardly because I've never read it before, is rubbish. Stop doing that, please. In the next season, take that out. Just introduce it. Have one guest. Just introduce them. Let them talk about themselves for a minute, not each other. It's pathetic and it doesn't work. However, one thing Greg Davies said was about the applause. Now, that to me says that the applause is scripted and they're told when to clap. Because he made a comment about, oh, it was a bit of a strange place for an applause, really. You know, that kind of indicates that that's what happened. That at certain times, they'd hold up a big card and everyone goes, whoa, what are we clapping for? I don't know, we're just told to clap. The first car thing, Porsche 356, okay, cool looking car. versus a Renault 18, you know, is going to win hands down. Then obviously the Porsche RSR against a camper van. Well, you know, it was either or that way. I actually thought the RSR was going to win, but obviously they had to have one all. Has to be. You know, they can't have 2 and 1 because then the lap wouldn't mean anything. And you know, there's a big community out there that love camper vans. Not my kind of thing personally, but a lot of people love them. Chris Evans' commentary was as shite as ever about the lap they were doing. And this kind of weather that they had in that lap just makes me think a rallycross track is not necessarily a good idea. Yes, it works very well and it looks very cool and it's very different to the original track in the dry. When it's wet, it's very slow, very cumbersome. You know, you don't get any traction on the mud. There's too much water in the water splash and you're just driving through like you're driving Miss Daisy. The corner, you almost stop. And it just seems as though it's a pointless exercise when it's raining. Because it just makes the whole track look really slow and really dull. With the old track, it was fast all the way. So even when it's wet, you can still go pretty fast. And it's only the slow people that drove slow. Whereas with this, you could put your foot down hard in the mud and you just spin forever. Okay, Matt LeBlanc in the 911R. To me, it's just, oh look, it's another Porsche. Oh look, it looks the same as the last Porsche. But I get what he's saying. That, you know, it seems good that you've got raw mechanical drivability versus the GT3 RS, which is all electronics and all fancy gadgets and stuff to stop you doing this and making sure you drive safely and that you don't crash and that you drive like this. So yeah, I get what he's saying there. But his video is very descriptive, it's very involving, very passionate. And it brings us into the video. The 911R and the GT3 RS drag race, oh good, we're going to see a drag race for once. Didn't happen. A little bit disappointed because I was hoping to see a drag race, but Matt made up for it with his funny sandwich thing, and you know, it worked. It did work quite well in the end. And then obviously he talked about the philosophy of how you have to drive the car, which yes, I agree with, very good. But who doesn't love a good drag race? Chris Evans' video with the old made better. Okay, yeah, well, at least he acknowledged that we'd seen the Eagle before, but he just liked driving it, so he bought it in. Fair enough, whatever. But £400,000? And then the DB5, £1 million for that car? That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know, with that price, they can just sod off. There's no way anyone's going to pay £1 million for an upgraded DB5. Surely anyone who's into Aston Martin DB5s and has £1 million is just going to go and find an original that's mint. But yeah, with the E-Type bit, as soon as it came on, I thought, hang on a minute, Clarkson did this. But like I say, he acknowledged that. The MGB, again, it sounds very nice, and I'm sure it's very quick, but it's an MGB that you can get for £5 or £6 grand for a decent one. And £100,000 for that? Really? Is anybody going to pay £100,000 for that? I mean, I looked at that, I was thinking through when they were doing that video, I thought, okay, maybe you spend £6,000 on an MG. Maybe you put like, I don't know, a 5-litre Coyote Mustang engine in it. Upgrade it all, do the suspension, do everything else. Maybe you spend 25 grand on it. You know, that's £30,000. Still 70,000 cheaper than the one you can buy. How do they get that price? What do they put in it? Even if they don't put a 5-litre V8 in it, you put a Focus RS engine in it, which is probably more or less what's in it now. You know, it's not going to cost you £100,000 to do that yourself. Just look for a written off RS, I'm sure there's plenty out there. Take the engine, take the running gear, adapt it, get it in there. Bob's your uncle. If you have an uncle called Robert. Then they did the final challenge. Okay, I thought this was going to be interesting. Apart from that, you know, head in hands, cringe-worthy, creepy little bit that Eddie Jordan did. He really isn't a presenter. You know, they've really made him out to be just the court jester of this program. You know, he can't really drive very well. He's not very good in the studio. He's pretty rubbish on challenges. Why is he even there? I'm sorry, but next year, please, however much respect I may have for Eddie Jordan as a Formula One guru and the owner of a Formula One race team, having him in Top Gear just does not work. He needs to go back to the retirement home. However, it was a great idea. At first I thought, okay, yes, Chris Evans has cheated, but he is coming across as a bit of a Clarkson in these videos. But then it just made it amusing because everyone tried to out-cheat the previous cheater. So it ended up being a pretty good video in the end. And that final splash in the credits was a good idea because they had us waiting. They go, oh, come on, they're going to splash, they're going to splash. And that final splash was epic. Brilliant idea, loved that. A great end. On to Extra Gear. Okay, well, Roy Reid again, doing a fantastic job presenting that. Another great behind the scenes video. I love this idea. I love the idea of these behind the scenes things. It's great to see. And that woman's job, her job, is basically she gets paid to move brand new hypercars, performance cars, sports cars around. What a job! Mind you, having said that, you know, the NSX was moved like 3 feet. And then you've got to polish it because you've got a fingerprint on it. That's probably the boring side. Chris Harris in the BMW i8. That was a very good video. Again, another good lap by Chris Harris. I do not like this idea of playing the sound of the engine through the speakers. Oh, I can't think of anything more boring and pointless. If you want the sound, buy a car that has the sound. Or you just want to selfishly listen to it by yourself. I mean, I don't buy a V8 Mustang that will only play the sound of a V8 Mustang inside the car. Although they do this sound option thing on the EcoBoost. Not a fan of that. You know, I want raw engine sound that everybody can hear. Let the world know this is what's under my bonnet. Not, oh yeah, I've got a lithium battery in the boot. The Abingdon MGB. Yep, another good report by Roy Reid. Taking it to Silverstone, chatting to some normal people about their MGBs and the flat cap brigade. I must admit it was a lot more accepted than I thought it would be, although they only spoke to like 3 or 4 different people. I wonder if they did a survey whether it would come out with the same result. Interesting. Not that interesting. But even in that short review he did, I think it was a better review than bloody Chris Evans did. Back to the studio, you've got Roy Reid and Chris Harris. Again, like 2 guys in a pub arguing about my car's better than your car. You know, I love that idea. But I have to say, I do agree with Chris Harris a lot on a lot of things. And that Mustang 0 to 60 timer, I want one of them in my Mustang. Instead of a stopwatch. I want a timer. I want it to be accurate. It's not fair. The Focus RS Stiglap, again, I agree with what was being said. It's a bit wobbly and bouncy around corners and it understeers. You could see it was understeering a lot. And it just looks so boring on the track. You know, the Focus RS has lost that mad, look at me, I'm a boy racer on steroids kind of attitude. You know, it's just a bit too family car-ish with a spoiler on the roof or the hatchback. And it sounds really crap. It's like someone's got a 2001 Fiesta, gone to the local do me up garage and bought a crappy little cheap back box and stuck it on the end. It really did not sound good at all. Chris Harris and Matt LeBlanc, very good together. I like those 2 together. I think they've got great chemistry. And then again with Matt LeBlanc and Chris Harris, also great chemistry. and with Chris Harris and Rory Reid, also great chemistry. Next season, I would love to see Matt LeBlanc, Chris Harris, and Rory Reid as the 3 presenters on Top Gear. Sorry, but Sabine, no. Yes, you're a great driver, but your presenting skills are very limited. Eddie Jordan, the court jester, is just completely unnecessary. Chris Evans is just loud and shouty and annoying, and look at me, I'm the biggest thing in the world, and twice as arrogant as Clarkson was. Bye bye. The Stig, okay, well, yeah, he's part of the show, so he must stay. But I really think it should be those three as the 3 main presenters next year. And then when they're all on the sofa together, the real car talk. That's what it should be about. Talking about cars. Not having celebrity guests in talking about their little world and what they're involved in. Car talk. Raw car talk about what they like to drive and why they like to drive. So, I look forward to next season. I've sort of had mixed feelings about this season. There's been very good pros. There's been quite a few cons that are sort of wrapped up in a Chris Evans bag of Chris Evans. And I'm hoping that they will take heed, listen to all the online chat, and take note and do something about it for next season. Don't cancel it. Bring it back much better with someone else in charge, with much better ideas, and get rid of the baggage. You know what I mean. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you very much. I'll be back next time there is a season. But until then, please have a look at my other videos. My daily vlogs, my Mustang videos, and my drone videos. And I shall see you again next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Drive safe.